Polls open as America votes for the next president. Will it be Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Both candidates made their final pitches in the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania. New poll data shows Kamala Harris is leading Donald Trump by 4%, with the gender pay gap narrowing as women are fueling Kamala Harris's late poll surge. But turnout for registered Republicans has been higher than registered Democrats in early voting in a majority of states so far. In Pennsylvania, arguably the most consequential of the swing states, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage received a special shout-out from Donald Trump at his election rally.
You have a man from Europe, I don't know if he's here, I saw him backstage. What he did was, and what he is doing is sort of what we did a few years ago. He's doing a great job. He's always been my friend for some reason. He liked me, I liked him, and he's shaking it up pretty good over there. He was the big winner of the last election in the UK, and he's a very spectacular man, very highly respected, Nigel Farage. He's a little bit of a rebel, but that's good. You know, that's good. Don't change, Nigel.
And don't change, Nigel. Well, joining me down the line from the US is the man himself, Nigel Farage. Welcome to your show, Nigel. Good to see you there. What did you make of what's the atmosphere like there in Florida? Are you in Florida now?
I'm in Florida now. I was in Pennsylvania yesterday and last night. Came back this morning. Went to a couple of polling stations at 7 o'clock on the outskirts of Scranton, which of course is where Joe Biden comes from. I would say this, that in Pennsylvania, absolutely key swing state, 19 electoral college votes, which matter a lot. Trump won it narrowly in 16, Biden won it in 20. It's seen as the absolute pivotal state of all. One thing that was said to me by people, and we're living, we were there on the very, very middle class detached houses, sort of small town America type area, was that there were a lot more Trump signs on lawns than there were this time than in 2020 or 2016, which kind of means people are less afraid to show their support for Trump. I just think, with all the reports I'm getting at the moment of really big turnouts happening, especially in the rural parts of America, on this course, he's going to win and win quite comfortably.
OK, how was the man when you met him? He said on stage there you'd spoken to him backstage. What did he say to you?
Well, we chatted about the polls, we chatted about the early voting. About a third of the votes for the whole election were in by yesterday and had been counted, believe it or not, or estimated already. I tell you what, for somebody of 78 years old, who was doing 4 big rallies yesterday, who's been working at a pace that's almost unbelievable, he just looked remarkably well, very, very relaxed indeed. I mean, the guy is a physical phenomenon, he really is. No, yeah. He's feeling good, he's feeling bullish, he believes he's going to win.
You weren't called up on stage this time like in previous campaigns. Is that for a reason?
No, I wasn't, and I think that the row over the Labour Party trying to send 100 operatives over here to campaign for Labour was perhaps a factor in that, even though, of course, I'm not here, as a representative of any political party. I'm here because I'm a friend of his. But that was perhaps a reason why better that I'm a bit lower profile this time.
Can you explain the teal baseball cap? It looks like it's in the colours of your party, Reform UK, the MAGA cap you wore.
So what we did, we reached out to the manufacturers of the MAGA caps and asked for a small sample size done in the Reform colours. So it was rather fun to wear that to the rally. And by the way, Donald thought it was terrific. Loved the hat. Incredible.
If he loses, though, Nigel Farage, there's big concern both sides of the Atlantic. Will he walk away? I think you said in an interview today with The Telegraph you think he should accept the result either way.
No, I said, and read the words, I said if he loses decisively, he should go and play golf. And if he loses decisively, he will play golf. He, in fact, voted here in Palm Beach about 2 hours ago, and he was very clear outside the station to the cameras that were there that if Kamala wins in a fair contest, he will accept it. But look, I don't believe that's going to happen. I think the betting markets are right, and indeed the odds around Trump have tightened today. I think he's going to win. I just don't see how Kamala wins from here unless there is a massive turnout in all the big urban centres around America. All the indications from early voting show that Trump will win the number of votes he needs in the Electoral College.
And just if I can bring you back to UK news today, Nigel Farage, we've heard from Kemi Badenoch. She's appointed her new team. Your old pal, Priti Patel, is the Shadow Foreign Secretary. Are you worried? Are you quaking in your boots about this reformed Tory party and whether it might take back support at the next election?
I think Priti Patel is almost the only person that Kemi Badenoch has appointed that anybody has actually ever heard of. I mean, go through the list of the rest, they're complete unknowns. All the big beasts are choosing to sit it out on the back benches. Looking at the makeup of the shadow cabinet, I think the sort of Remainers and centrists overall have the balance of power. And I think what Kemi Badenoch's leadership represents is continuity. She is the continuity candidate from all that came over the course of the last 14 years. And I can tell you that over the last 3 days, the numbers paying their £25 or more to join Reform has gone up the most since our conference that we had a few weeks ago in Birmingham. So people are coming to us, conversations are happening with councillors all over the country. I think many people realise that Genrick losing means the argument about leaving the European Court of Human Rights is now dead. It's now over. The party is not serious about dealing with illegal immigration into this country with some of the, frankly, awful people, terrible people that we're allowing in, including a man who came in the other day that's openly threatened to kill me. No, I think, to be honest with you, I think if Genrick had won, it might have been more difficult. That isn't the case.
And just finally, Nigel Farage, there is one battle you have won over this side of the Atlantic. The government's dropped plans to ban smoking in pub gardens. I know this was an issue you felt very personally and acutely. Are you relieved that you can have a fag and not face a fine?
Well, I'm relieved, Chris. I'm not relieved for myself. I'm relieved for all those pubs. When they have their 6 o'clock early evening people coming in for a couple of pints, many of them say up to half of those that come in go outside to a shelter or a garden and have a quick cigar or whatever it may be. And it would have been devastating on an industry that has suffered already absolutely horribly. So in the end, I think the Treasury have said to the government, don't do this. It'll end up costing too much money and closing too many businesses. And think about those pubs right now. Maybe a penny off a pint, but of course, for the publican, they've got to pay increased wages in terms of minimum wage, massively increased national insurance, and all very worried what their business rates may be next year. So this is a victory for common sense. OK. This is Nigel Farage. Thank you for joining us tonight from Florida. Thank you. Now, joining me now is Raj Goyal, Kamala Harris's personal friend and a former Kansas State representative. Raj, welcome to Nigel Farage's show. Did you hear what Nigel Farage had to say there? Do you agree with him that it's going to be a clear win for Donald Trump? It didn't seem very big at all. Can't quite hear what Raj is saying there. Well, we'll get back to Raj as soon as we can.
Okay. All right.
Raj, can you hear me now in New York? That's all good. We can hear you now. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a problem there with the sound. I'm not sure if you heard what Nigel Farage had to say. He's a cheerleader for Donald Trump. He's calling it for Trump already. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think wishful thinking there for Nigel. And last time I checked, he wasn't exactly up to speed on the latest precinct counts over here in America. I know he likes to come and hang out over here. I did read that Telegraph story, actually, even before I knew I was coming on your show. And I have to say, the major news that Nigel has broken, which would be news here in America, is that if he really has Donald Trump on the record saying that he'll accept the results of the election, color us all a little bit doubtful, because Donald Trump has continued to lie about what happened in the 2020 election, no matter what our policy differences are, here across the pond. His behavior in 2020, not just January 6th, but denying the basic democratic processes, is really one of the most dangerous things that we've seen in America. So if Nigel got his friend Donald to accept the results of the election, I'm happy for it, because regardless of who wins, if the ballots are counted accurately and fairly, I'll respect the process.
I think that's important to everybody. He did say if it's a clear win for Kamala Harris, which raises concerns if it's a narrow win.
Well, we call that a hedge, in New York. So that's why it wasn't exactly decisive from my ears. But as far as his prediction goes, I think he raises a fair point that there are more Trump yard signs. So in 2016, there was really kind of this concept of the shy Trump voter. The reason why I'm confident in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and the fact that I think they're going to win tonight is we're sort of got the Trump phenomenon baked in. And to be honest, we're tired of it. I'm not a Trump supporter, but this country is just tired of the old shake and bake.
Is he? Is he looking old, Trump? I mean, he looks young next to Biden. Now Biden's off the stage. He looks old next to your candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's so much about that. And I think I respect the fact that he's 78 and he's out there campaigning. He's doing 3-hour interviews. And so I don't think it's so much about someone's personal age. I think it's the age of his ideas. And so what Donald Trump is doing is he wants to tariff everything. He's made tariff into a verb. And so, Kamala Harris believes in targeted tariffs. He just wants to carpet bomb tariffs. And it's going to be a tax increase for the voters of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. And that's why these swing states, I think we're going to do very well at. And so really what's happening, I think, in the electorate is they're looking at this Trump phenomenon, which, let's be honest, is a phenomenon, but it's a tired phenomenon. We've seen it before. We fired him in 2020. I think we're going to fire him again in 2024 and tonight with the election results, because we don't want to go backwards. And Kamala Harris is focused like a laser beam on growing this economy from the middle class out. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is out there hawking a crypto scam coin that his family owns. It's not transferable. He's got a meme stock that's worth $6 billion of market cap, even though it's only got a few $1 million of revenue. It's just a lot of smoke and mirrors. And, he's a great campaigner. I'll give him that. But I don't think his vision or his ideas for this country is what this country's buying right now. We want somebody who's going to actually protect this economy and grow us into the future.
Well, Raj Goyal, we'll find out soon enough. Thank you for joining us live from New York. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.